Johnson, a 6'3 senior, and Todd Piper, a 6'4 junior, and the center will be Todd Springer, a 6'6 senior. Off the bench, Scott Springer, a 5'9 junior, and Jamie Reverman, a 6'1 junior. Lineups introduced here in just a moment. We will have ROCORI coming back on the floor momentarily as well, as we're going to get underway just a little bit before it would appear. 98 Country, WWJO St. Cloud. I'm Connie O. We have Emmett Keenan back to the studios, and we'll be back with the opening tip-off and a look at this ball game with Melrose and ROCORI right after this message. Steve Howell, 6'1 junior, at one wing. Bart Johnson, the 6-foot senior, at the other wing. Craig Ethan will get the start at the post spot. And Lyle New will be at the point guard, 6'1 senior. And Scott Howell, the 6'4 sophomore, will start at the other post for the Spartans. Now for the Dutchman, coached by Darrell O.J. Ken Pipa and Bob Kuzma also help him out. Chad Funk will start at one guard, 5'9 senior. Ryan Spanier, 6-foot senior, at the other guard. Ross Jensen, 6'3 senior, at a forward. Todd Piper, 6'4 junior, at center forward. And Todd Furlick, 6'6 senior, will be at the center. We'll remind you once again, 98 Country is WWJO, St. Cloud, Minnesota. Connie O courtside. Emmett Keenan back to the studios. The tap is controlled by Hondo, but it's picked up in the backcourt, in the front court rather, by Chad Funk. He's in his front court anyway. The 5'9 senior gets it off on the left-hand side. The Spanier is running mate at the guard spot. ROCORI coming out in a 2-3 zone defense, which was so effective against Tech the other night. Way outside it comes to Todd Frelick. And then back inside, the turnaround jumper is up and good by Todd Piper. Piper gets the first 2 points of the ball game, and Melrose goes on top by a score of 2-0. And in the corner, we've got a shot taken, and a foul will be called. The foul is going to be charged to the Dutchman, Todd Piper, to pick up his first personal foul. He has the first basket and the first foul, and at the free throw line will be Scott Hondo. The 6'4 sophomore will be at the line. He's been a very nice surprise for the Spartans this year, as he's been starting each game so far and doing a nice job, and only a sophomore. Scott Hondo's first free throw is up, and it's good. One more coming. 2-1 ball game. We're just underway. 7:29 on the clock, first quarter. Hondo at the line one more time. Second one is on its way, and it is good. 2-2 ball game as the Dutchmen come right to left on your radio dial, and ROCORI putting on some zone pressure. Pass goes ahead down into the corner to Piper. Brings it back outside now to Funk, who run the club. Off on the left side to Spanier, down into the left corner to Piper once again. His jumper is way long, and the air ball comes on the far side to Craig Easton, who gets it ahead to Lyle New. Drops it down to the baseline to Howells, but he's cut off at the baseline. Brings it back outside on the dribble. Nice pass in through the three. Got it to Ethan, who put it down. And ROCORI with 4 unanswered points has taken the lead by 2 at 4-2. Down the left side, Frelick pulls up at the three-point line. Carrying the ball will be called against Ross Jensen. Turnover 1 goes to the Dutchman, and we go the other way. The Spartans, with no pressure being put on, the Dutchman will fall right back into their, what appears to be a 1-3-1 zone. That's what it is, 1-3-1, with the point being Chad Funk. And on the backside, they have Ross Jensen. Here's Howells going down into the baseline to Johnson. Back it comes for Ethan in traffic. He's able to get the ball loose. And outside to New. Lyle New has the basketball. Over to Steve Howells on the left side. Brings it to Hondo down in the corner. Back into the middle. Nice tap off to Ethan, who puts the jumper up and hits it. Lyle New was in the middle. Knew he was going to be covered quickly. Tapped the ball off to Ethan, who got his second basket of the ball game. He has 4, and the Spartans lead by 4. Freilich from outside. It's good, a 3 for Todd Freilich. And the big guy can do it all as he hits the tray. Across the timeline, New. 1-point lead for the Spartans at 6-5. Down into the corner, Johnson. Back out to New. Drives it to the paint and gets it off on the left side. To Howells, back across the top of the circle to New, down into the corner to Johnson. Johnson started to make his move, ball trickled out of bounds, and he turnover Spartan. As Johnson started to go, he lost the basketball. Looked like his feet may have slipped out, or he's just playing trips. Freilich comes down to help out on bringing the ball down against full court pressure, and Spanier will bring it across the timeline. Leaves it outside for Funk. Funk out at long range on the dribble now as the Spartans have gone to a man-to-man, and Howells, as Johnson knocks it away on the far side from Ross Jensen. It'll be out of bounds on the far side to the Dutchman, last touch by the Spartans. Pass in the corner, and we're going to get a held ball, and the ball will belong to ROCORI as the Dutchman give it back on the held ball. Bounce pass comes in to Lyle New. Ethan comes over to have a word with Coach Bobrink, and then they head down court. New across the timeline, right side down into the corner to Johnson, to Ethan, and back outside to Howells on the far side. High post to Ethan, back over to New. New drives it to the paint, puts it up inside, nicely to Hondo. He dropped it off nicely to Hondo, who has 4 points in the ballgame. He and Ethan with 4, and it looks like the Spartans will be able to score from the inside. Almost a travel by Spanier, but he gets it back to Funk and throws it across the timeline on the dribble. ROCORI's dropped back into the 2-3 zone, so they're mixing up the defenses real good here. They're really going. They've gone zone, man-to-man, and now zone once again. Pass on the far side. Freilich for 3. It's short, no good. Chased down on the side. Nice feed inside, but the shot won't go, and New pulls down the rebound for the Spartans. Hondo takes it right to the hoop and lays it in. Hondo with 6 points in the ball game, and the Spartans have opened up a 5-point lead at 10-5. Back to Freilich. Reverse layup is good. Freilich has 5, and the Dutchman has cut it back down to 3 at 10-7. 4:10 to play as we approach the midway point of the first quarter. New at the top of the circle. Left side to Howells, looking inside. Takes the pass inside, then goes over to New, down into the corner to Johnson, 4-3. It's going to be short, no good, and saved, almost saved by Johnson, but he couldn't save it. Saved it into the lap of the young lady down there, and it'll be out of bounds to the Dutchman. The student body is down in the corner, including a group of young men who have something across their t-shirt saying the chosen ones, so I don't know, it looks more like something from Halloween. Here outside with the basketball, this is Funk. Pretty nice crowd on hand. At least the lower bleachers are full here, and about half full up in the section up in the theater seat. The shot from outside by Funk's no good, and the rebound pulled down by Ethan. Ahead to Howells. His jumper is off the glass, too high, no good. Rebound Johnson blocked. And Johnson got Spanier got hammered right across the nose or the mouth with that ball as it came down on the block. The block was, I believe, by Freilich, who really knocked it into the face of his teammate. And Spanier's checking to see if he has all his teeth, and that's exactly what's going on. Apparently no blood, so we'll get the action underway once again. Nice block on the part of the big guy, Freilich. Now across the timeline, the Spartans, or the Dutchman will bring it down. Clearing it across is Jensen, leaves it outside for Funk. Top of the circle, high post to Freilich, drops it off nicely, but not being able to handle it was Ross Jensen, and that's turnover 3 unofficially for the Dutchman. 3:07 to play. ROCORI up by 3 here in the first quarter. Across the timeline, New with the dribble, looking at a zone defense. Looked like a 3-2 right there. Ethan had it blocked out of bounds by Todd Piper, and the Spartans will still own the basketball. And it'll be out of bounds under their own basket. Steve Howells will throw it in. Gets it down into the corner. Back outside to Lyle New. Back to New from Howells. Drops it off to the baseline to Hondo. His shot won't go. New rebounds it up and in. Lyle New did several rebounds, including that offensive board. And the Spartans go back up by 5 at 12-7 on the driving roll-up to Fröhlich with the bucket. It's good. Fröhlich now has 7 in the ball game. As he has 3 baskets, 2 twos, and a 3. 2.5 minutes to play first quarter. 12-9 the score. Fröhlich knocks it out of bounds. He is definitely imposing inside for the Dutchman. Todd Fröhlich. At 6'6" and about 210 maybe. He's not a real huge guy, but maybe 220 or 230 would be more like it. He's 6'6", so he's a pretty big guy, but not. He's just very well built. Good-looking basketball player. Out of the ball game now for the Spartans comes Ethan, and into the ball game comes Tim Nuring for the first time. Bounce pass, high post. Goes to, that's Ethan that's still in the ball game, so the player who came out was, let's see. Nuring is in there. Heindel is still in. New is in. Howells is in. No, Johnson came out. Okay. Spartans lost the basketball. Dutchmen have it. Jensen outside. Travel called on Spanier, so the Dutchmen turn it over for the 4th time. 12-9 the score. 2:05 to play first quarter. ROCORI on top by 3. Now Danny Moore will check in for ROCORI. And Craig Ethan will sit down this time. So Johnson and Ethan are on the bench, and Moore and Nuring are into the ball game, along with Heindel, New, and Howells for the Spartans. Outside to New, down into the corner to Moore. Brings it back out to Howells. Howells starts to drive and brings it back over to New. New from the free throw line. The jumper is no good. The rebound is out of bounds. Last touch by Steve Howells. Apparently he was out of bounds when he tapped that ball. And so it'll belong to the Dutchman backcourt baseline. ROCORI with full court pressure put on. But the Dutchman break it rather easily. Jesse Philippi gets up to come in for ROCORI. On the right side with the basketball, the Spaniard. Down into the corner now to Jensen. Back outside to Funk. Here's a pass into a high post and turn around over to Piper to Fröhlich for a 3. And a foul from behind on Jamie Reverman, who just checked into the ball game. So Reverman picks up his first personal foul. Lyle New will bring it across the timeline. Throws it to the top of the circle. Pulls up three-point line. Gets into a high post to Heindel. Heindel in the paint. They'll make that Nuring in the paint. Over on the left side to Moore. His turnaround jumper is good. Danny Moore was really frustrated the other night because he just wasn't able to put it down, even though he got some big rebounds on the inside. But he hit his first basket here tonight, and that'll be a confidence builder. Pass on the right side intended for Reverman goes off his hands and out of bounds. Also in the game now is Scott Springer. As the two guards, Funk and Spanier are both on the bench right now. Well, Spanier's still in there, so the player that's out would be Piper. Dutchman with 5 turnovers in the ball game. Philippi is into the game now for ROCORI as Howells has taken a rest. 32 seconds to play first quarter. And Lyle New says, let's play for 1. You can hear the coaching staff off to our right side talking. In the lane, the loose ball, and now we're going to get a whistle and a 3-second violation against the Spartans. Third turnover against ROCORI. 19 seconds on the clock. The Dutchman would cut the lead to 3 or possibly 2 with a 3-point basket. And Spanier will bring it across the timeline. Clears it on the right side. Leaves it outside now for Springer. Springer back to Spanier. Down to Fröhlich. Fröhlich with a fadeaway jumper, and it's on the iron, but no good. Out of bounds to the Dutchman. And so it'll be out of bounds to the Dutchman under their own basket. Comes inbounds to Jensen. Got up no good, and that's the end of the first quarter with the score. The Spartans 14, the Dutchman 9. Back in a minute. By the way, my guest from taped earlier with John Schroeder, Mark Oberding, who played a lot of basketball here at this very gymnasium back in his high school days and around central Minnesota in the old Central Gopher Conference, and we'll be talking to him. He's with Texas San Antonio now and assistant coach in basketball. Here's the Spartans with the ball, but they turn it back over to the Dutchman. The jumper up, no good by Spanier. And Freilich comes over the back and picks up the personal foul as he picks up number 1 in the ball game and the third personal foul, third team foul against the Dutchman. And now we got a whistle. And apparently, Jesse Phillips, he's got to tuck in his shirt a little bit there, and then we're ready to go once again. Across the timeline on the dribble now for the Spartans comes Dan Crone. Off on the right side to Phillips. Crone and Phillips getting a little action at the guard spots right now. Crone for 3 off the glass, wrapped around, came out. But Hondel follows it in, and Scott Hondel has 8 points in the ball game. And the Spartans have taken their biggest lead of the game at 7, 16-9. Ball goes out of bounds and unable to save it. Are the Dutchmen, and the Spartans get the ball back. 6 turnovers for the Dutchmen. Well, the Spartans will have it once again. Across the timeline comes Crone. And Crone into the ball game at the point guard. Gets it off on the right side to Phillips. The 2 little guards are out there, as a matter of fact. Off on the left side now, gets it to Nuring. Dan Crone drops it down to the baseline. Figured out by Hondel is good. Hondel with 10 points in the basketball game. And Hondel is looking awfully sharp tonight for the Spartans. Dan Crone, a 5'10 senior, wears number 12 on that uniform. Saw some action earlier in the game, season against Albany, quite a bit. In fact, when the Spartans went 5 starters and then 5 reserves came in at the same time. Down the right side, it goes to Freilich. Looking inside, now goes inside. And then back at a give and go to Freilich. His jumper's good. Boy, he can shoot in traffic. He has 9 in the ball game. 3 threes and a 2, or 3 twos and a 3, I should say. Thrown on the outside. 6:22 to play. 18-11 the score. Spartan up by 7. That 9-point lead a moment ago was their biggest for the ball game. Crone back over on the left side to Nuring. His jumper won't go, but a foul is called. Fouling him after the shot was number 45, Todd Piper, picking up the second personal foul of the ball game. You can't beat those old dinner favorites at the Red River Inn. Liver with bacon and onions, chopped steak, cheddar steak, ham steak, fried fish, and broiled fish. Each dinner includes mashed or baked potato, roll, and vegetable. Just $4.99, $5.99 with salad bar at the Red River Inn in Cold Spring. At the charity line for the Spartans will be Tim Nuring. The free throw is no good. First free throw missed. He'll have another one coming as he was in the act of shooting. Second one by Nuring is up and good. So Tim Nuring makes one and misses one, and the Dutchman will have it back towards baseline, and know that ROCORI will be in a man-to-man full-court press defense. And they'll not cover the shooter or the inbound man, but they will cover the rest. And the ball goes out of bounds, knocked away by Dan Moore, but it will still belong to the Dutchman on the side. And the Spartans go back to the man-to-man defense. Down into the corner with the basketball. This is Jensen. Brings it back outside now to Spanier. Top of the circle to Funk. Only Reverman is in there replacing Piper, I believe. The only starter that's not in there. Well, Piper's in there too. Freilich is out right now, and the Dutchman turn it over for the 7th time in the ball game. Crone will bring it down to the Spartans. They lead 19-11 by 8. 5:48 to play. Left side jumper, 3-pointer won't go by Johnson. Rebound, Funk pounds it down court, and Phillippe from behind knocks it out of bounds. Spartans with Moore, Johnson, along with Hondel, Crone, and Phillippe in there right now, as Coach Bob Brink said he was going to try some different combinations tonight. Into the corner it comes, and then back outside again. Down deep into the corner goes to Spanier. Dribble once, inside turnaround is up and good. Nice move by Todd Piper. He has 4 in the ball game, and the Spartans lead by 6. 19-13. Here's Hondo to a high post and back out to Phillippe. To Crone, left side to Johnson looking inside. Back to Crone. Crone on a running pass inside. Knocked away from Moore. It is still belonged to the Spartans. But a nice block inside there. As with Frederick on the bench, Coach Carol Oge has to be fairly pleased the way his club is playing right now. They've actually cut a 9-point lead down to 6. It's a big guy out of there. Craig Ethan will come back into the ballgame now for the Spartans as Johnson, high post to Hondo, had it knocked away and picked up. Spartans turn it over for the 5th time in the ballgame. And across the timeline, Funk pounds it to the baseline, still in there, driving, tries to reverse it, does, up and in. Funk made a nice fake at the baseline as he started to go, backed off and then came right to the basket and laid it in on a reverse. Johnson misses the shot. We're going to get a foul coming through on Jamie Reverman, picks up his 2nd foul of the ballgame. Ethan comes back in, Howells comes back in. 19-15, 4-point lead for the Spartans, and with 4:51 to play in the half. The ROCORI Spartans will have it out of bounds. Ethan will throw into Moore, Howells, Johnson are thrown. That's the 5 in there right now. Howells gets it in the corner. Outside Johnson for 3. It's good. Johnson missed a couple, but he hit his 3-pointer. And the Spartans go up 22-15 by 7. Spanier across the timeline. Ball is popped in the air, and Dwight Johnson comes down with it. 8 turnovers for the Dutchman. Down court to Howells at 3-point land. Howells to the basket. Reverses it up, no good. As he had to go underhand to the basketball, and the rebound pulled down by Ross Jensen. Ahead now, the jumper by Spanier around the rim, no good. Ethan pulls down the rebound for ROCORI. Johnson, and then back to Crone, who'll bring it across the timeline. Dan Crone clears it into the front court. Into a high post to Moore, and back outside for 3. Howells, it's good. Steve Howells gets the tray. And he and Johnson, the 2 wings, each have a 3-pointer. 25-15, ROCORI by 10. And the Dutchmen want a timeout. Timeout on the floor, I would imagine. Timeout. 3:55 to play in the first half. The score, ROCORI 25, Melrose 15. Back in a minute. 3:55 to play here in quarter number 2. Spartans on top by 10, and the Dutchmen talking it over. They have a 3-2 zone out there, it would appear, or else a 2-3, one or the other. The jump shot from the left side is up and good by Steve Howells, who picks up his first 2-pointer of the ball game. And now he has 5 in the basketball game for the Spartans. Across the timeline on the dribble outside. This is Funk with the basketball. 3.5 minutes to play. 27-15, the Spartans on top by 12. Doug Brink hollering for a 5-second violation, but did not get it. Now we're going to get a whistle. Foul on number 34 would be a foul on Craig Ethan, his first of the basketball game, and believe it or not, that's the first team foul against the Spartans as well. Played a pretty clean game so far and been playing pretty good defense as well. Frelick with a turnaround, it won't go. Follow-up rebound shot is good by Ross Jensen. His first 2, and it's 27-17. ROCORI by 10. 3:07 to play first half. As I said, Mark Oberding will be my guest by way of pre-recording at halftime. With some comments from him about his job at Texas San Antonio. A little jump hook is good by Craig Ethan. He has 6 in the ball game, and ROCORI again up by 12 for the second time in the ball game. 2:47 and counting here in the first half. Frelick brings it across the timeline for the Dutchman. Frelick to the basket. Has a block from behind by Ethan, but also a blocking foul in the front. by Moore. And Dan Moore will pick up his first personal foul of the ball game, second team foul against the Dutchmen, or the Spartans rather. Crone, Howell, Ethan, Johnson, and Moore in there right now for the Spartans. And at the line shooting a pair will be Todd Freilich. The first one is up, and it is no good. A bit long, no good. First free throw attempt of the night by the Dutchmen. You can't beat those old dinner favorites at the Red River Inn. We'll talk about them in a little bit. Second free throw is up, and this one is good. It's 29-18. Scott Hondel gets up to come back in. Shot from outside by Hulls won't go, and the rebound pulled down by the Dutchmen. They'll bring it down court. Outside, this is Funk with the basketball. Funk pulls up at long range, covered closely by Crone. And now we're going to get an offensive foul called against Funk. So Funk got a little frustrated there because he couldn't find anybody to pass to and ended up picking up the offensive foul. Dan Moore and Craig Ethan will sit down. Nope, wait a minute. And Moore is coming out. Ethan will stay in. And Crone, who's the quarterback out there, doing a nice job for the Spartans here tonight. Dan Crone, the 5'10" senior for the Spartans, doing a good job running the club. But that time the Spartans lose it, and the Dutchmen pick it up. 6 turnovers for ROCORI. Here comes Crone, or here comes Scott Springer across the timeline. Pass down into the corner, intended down into the corner to one of the Dutchmen, is out of bounds. And turnover number 10 in the ball game for the Dutchmen. 1:53 to play, first half. 29-18, ROCORI by 11. Across the timeline on the dribble. Funk picked up his first foul of the game, by the way. Bart Johnson. Nobody, well, 2 players, Jamie Reverman off the bench and Todd Piper, one of the starters for the Dutchmen, each have 2. No one else has more than 1. ROCORI has only 2 team fouls in the entire first half. It's been a pretty clean first half. Inside, Ethan had the shot missed, but the follow-up shot by Hulls is good. And Hulls has 7 in the basketball game. Spartans, everybody was doing some rebounding in there. We'll have a whistle and a foul call. The foul will be charged to the Spartans. Bart Johnson, it'll be his first third team against ROCORI in the first half. 1:24 to play. Johnson, New is back into the ballgame, replacing Crone at the point guard spot. Lyle New, outside Freilich, down to Spanier, who had posted up against Howells. Long reach pass for Hondo, and Hondo sails into the stand. Pass was a little bit too tall for him, and it sailed over his head. Spartans with 7 turnovers. Jimmy Thielen, Doug Brink, and Bob Brink coaching the Spartans along with Gary Bistel, the B squad coach. 49-39, very disappointing fourth quarter for the Spartans, who led it 37-36. Before that, at the end of the third quarter and lost it, they scored 2 points in the entire fourth quarter, and that came in the last minute of that quarter. Here's Freilich going back door. But it still belongs to the Dutchman, as it was last touched by Ethan, who went up and knocked it away. And it'll be inbound by the Dutchman. Freilich gets it in, puts up the jump shot. He missed it. And now Hulls traveled with the basketball as he got the rebound and started up court. Picked up the pivot foot as he ran into one of the Dutchmen. So it'll be out of bounds to the Dutchmen under their own basket after ROCORI's 8th turnover of the first half. Inbounds pass, inside, up and in by Freilich. Well, once he gets the ball in there, there's no stopping. 12 points in the ball game for Freilich, including a free throw and a 3-pointer. Here's Lyle New. Hondo kicks it back outside the Hulls for 3. It's no good. And the rebound pulled down in the lane by Springer. Springer will bring it across the timeline, down the left side, gets it to Freilich. Cross-court pass, jumper on its way, Reverman, no good. And missed everything and goes sailing out. And, of course, the familiar chant by the ROCORI fans of air ball. Dan McMahon and Troy Stein watching the ball game here tonight, along with other former players for the Spartans. I see the Kalerts are over there. I don't see Paul, but I see his folks across the way. ROCORI with a good contingent of fans here tonight. Here's the pass intended for Johnson. And the corner was touched by a Dutchman and then off the fingertips of Johnson out of bounds. Only 4 seconds remaining in the first half. 31-20, the lead belongs to ROCORI. Down court. Here's the jumper at the buzzer. It's good. Ross Jensen hits the bucket. It's a two-pointer. And that makes the score at halftime 31-22. ROCORI on top. We'll be back with our halftime feature in 2 minutes. They'll have Piper, Jensen, Frelick, Funk, and also Spaniards. So both clubs starting the same 5 in the second half. On the right side, this is Funk pushing off with the left hand on New as the Spartans are in a man-to-man defense. Turnaround jump shot is no good, put up there by Piper, and we're going to get a whistle and the foul charge. And the foul will be charged to the Spartans. Craig Ethan over the back, apparently, to pick up personal foul number 2 in the ball game. The first player for the Spartans to get his second foul of the game. He will be out of bounds to the Dutchman. Into the corner, the jump shot by Spanier is good. That's a 2 for Spanier. And it's 31-24, a 7-point lead for ROCORI. Dutchman's biggest deficit was by 12 on 2 occasions. The Spartans on the attack, right to left on your radio dial. Back door intended for Handel off his fingertips and out of bounds. ROCORI with 8 turnovers in the first half, the Dutchman with 10, and that's the first of the second half for ROCORI. Ballpark hands the basketball to Spanier, who gets it inbounds to Funk, and double team gets it across to Spanier, and left side to Jensen, down to the baseline to Piper. Back outside it comes to Funk, pounds it to the basket and puts it up, no good, and a lane wide open for him. Out of bounds, and it'll be ROCORI's basketball as battling underneath there. For the ball was Todd Piper, and Darrell Oj very pleased with the way his team is showing tenacity going after that basketball. Even though they trail in the game 31-24 with just over 7 minutes to play third quarter. The game won by Melrose 49-39. Pass across the top of the circle to Howells, down to the baseline. Ethan for the jumper. It's good. Ethan with a 2-pointer. Craig Ethan has 8 in the ball game. Lyle New now covering down court on the ball as Funk plays it across the timeline with the big M at center court. Goes it to the right side, now drives it to the free throw line, drops it down to the baseline. The jumper is good by Todd Piper, and he has 6 in the basketball game. Inbounds Ethan, back to New, 33-26. ROCORI's lead back to 7. New with the ball, bounce pass down into the corner to Howells, and back out to New. Lyle New pounds it to the top of the circle, back out to Johnson for 3. It's in and out, no good. Rebound, Howells nicely goes up and gets it. New for 3. No, it wouldn't go. And now a held ball as Ethan battling with Jensen for the basketball, and it'll be a held ball, and it'll be out of bounds to the Spartans as the arrow pointed their way. Inbounds pass, Howells will throw it in to Hondo, who tried to go up and get it. Couldn't chase it down, though, and brings it out in the corner nicely. Out to Johnson for 3. It's in and out, no good. So the Spartans have missed 3 3-pointers in a row, and a couple of them were halfway down. Across the timeline, down the right side, Spanier from Funk. Gets it down, posted up, Frelick takes it to the basket, tries to reverse the layup. Too far underneath, out of bounds. It will belong to the Dutchman. And Spanier will throw it in. Spanier gets it into the corner now to Funk. Here's Frelick going to the basket, puts it in. Frelick making a nice move that time as the big guy was in heavy traffic, and he put it down. He has 4 feet in the ball game and will have a chance to complete a 3-point play for the Dutchman with 5:44 to play here in the third quarter. 33-28. ROCORI's lead of 9 is back down to 5. And the free throw is no good, and high in the air for the rebound goes Ethan. So 1 out of 3, all free throws being shot by Frelick. Down into the corner, Howells with a screen, puts up the jumper, won't go, and Johnson brings it out the other side, and New will reset the offense outside. Calls the play and bounces it off on the left side to Johnson. Down to the baseline to Hondo. Back out to Johnson. Johnson in the lane. Little running jumper is up. No good. ROCORI's in a real cold streak right here. And that's what they did in the fourth quarter of that B game. They just hit a cold streak and couldn't get anything. After the shot, it's good by Piper. Piper has 8. The Dutchman Spartan lead is down to 3. And ROCORI wants a timeout. 5:07 to play the third quarter to score. ROCORI 33, Melrose 30. Back in a minute. ROCORI will have the ball after seeing their 12-point lead late in the first half, cut down, and then at 9 at the end of the third quarter, or the half rather, cut down now to 3 at 33-30 with 5 minutes to play in the third quarter. Lyle New, jump pass over to Howells on the right side, back out to New. Over on the right side to Howells, goes inside to Ethan, back to Howells. Howells lost the ball on the way to the basket, was picked up by Funk, turnover 2 for the Spartans in the second half, 10 in the ball game. Frelick will take it to the hoop. Lost it, but it's chased down at long range by Funk, and Darrell O.J. says run the offense again. And Funk at the top of the circle pulls up left side for Ryan Spaniard. Back outside to Funk. His jumper is up, no good. Rebound on the floor, and on his head is Lyle New. He was spun over in there. And it will be a held ball, and I believe the Dutchmen will have it. They should have the alternating possession. To be out of bounds to, well, I don't know if they called the held ball. Maybe it's just ROCORI's basketball. I'm not sure what the call is here, but at any rate, it apparently will belong to ROCORI, because now they're wiping up the floor down there and make sure that no perspiration. There's 4 players that's piled up. No, the Dutchmen will have it. It's under their basket. And the inbound pass will come from Spanier outside the front, out beyond the three-point line. ROCORI in the 2-3 zone. Philippi is in there at the guard spot along with New. Jump shot from outside is up and good, and it's a three-pointer by Rutherman. And that's his first three-pointer of the ball game, and it ties the game at 33. Our only other tie was at 2 from the corner. Howells with the jumper. It won't go. New gets the rebound and brings it back outside again. So Rutherman ties the ball game at 33. Down to the baseline, Hondo with the jumper. It's good. Scott Hondo has 12 in the ball game. The 6'4" sophomore puts the Spartans back up by 2. 3:43. Jump shot by Rutherman is good, and he's got 2 in a row. So off the bench, Rutherman picks up his fourth foul. Points, I should say. New down into the corner to Howells. Back to New. Inside to Ethan. Bounce pass back to Howells. Brings it back out to New for 3. It's short, but the follow-up is good by Howells as the Dutchman left the back door open, and Howells put it in. Howells has 9 in the ball game for the Spartans, and they go back up by 2. Offensive foul on Funk. It'll be a second of the ball game. And backcourt baseline, Ethan will throw it in for the Spartans. It'll be also turnover number 1 of the second half, and 11 in the ball game for the Dutchmen. Ethan, New, Johnson, Howells, and Hondelin for the Spartans right now. And for the Dutchmen, they have Funk, Spanier, Frelick, Reverman, and Piper. At this point, 3:10 on the clock for the third quarter. ROCORI by 2, 37-35. Ball game had been tied at 33 and 35. Inside jumper won't go by Ethan, and Howells comes out with a loose ball after Ethan batted it over to him. Here's a pass into the corner for Johnson. It's good. A 2 for Johnson. And he has 5 points in the basketball game. On the driving layup, the shot is good by Piper. He takes it right to the hoop. One of the Spartans went down, but no foul called. That was Ethan, I believe. Here's New into the front court, 39-37. ROCORI's lead at 2. Down to the baseline, we're going to get a blocking foul called on Reverman. It'll be his 3rd personal foul of the ball game. And now Crone is going to come in. And he will now, as Paul Park says, yeah, come on into the ball game. And so Crone will replace New at the point guard, and ROCORI will have the ball under their own basket after the blocking foul. Here's a shot up, no good. Out of bounds, it belonged to the Dutchman, knocked away by Hulls or Ethan for the Spartans. 2:24, third quarter, 39-37, ROCORI by 2. Full court pressure, and Funk will run away from the defense. Pops it into the corner to Piper. His jumper is no good. Rebound Hulls in the lane. And Freilich tries to reach in and knock it away, but Crone will bring it down for the Spartans. Across the timeline on the right side, calling the play. Now gets it to Handel on a turnaround. It's up, no good. Handel follows it in and lost it out of bounds. So Handel had a handle on it momentarily and then lost it. And it'll be out of bounds to the Dutchman, backcourt baseline. They'll put a little pressure on full court. And the bounce pass comes back to Funk now as ROCORI putting on a lot of pressure. Crone covering on Funk with the left-hand dribble. He clears the timeline, back to the right, pops it out to the right side to Reverman, who had the hot hand. Missed the shot. Follow up by Piper is good. And we're tied at 39. So Piper hits the jump shot. He has an even dozen. And he has 8 of those here in the third quarter. A minute 37 to play. Crone cross-court pass goes to Howell. Down into the baseline now to Ethan. Back over comes for Crone. Long range skip pass to Bart Johnson. Back out to Crone. Crone on the dribble, top of the circle. Handel pops it into the corner to Johnson. His shot's no good. And the rebound to Piper, who blocked out nicely on Steve Howell. Across the timeline, 39-39 the score. Freilich with a jumper. It's in and out, no good. Rebound, Johnson for the Spartans. Gets it off to Crone. Crone with the left-hand dribble, clears it into the front court as Dan Moore gets set to come back in for the Spartans. Top of the circle, Johnson with the basketball. Back over to Crone. Down into the corner to Handel. Jumper, no good. Rebound far side, weak side Spaniard. Gets it ahead to Funk, who cleared across the timeline. Now Jesse Philippi gets set to come in with Crone, and also getting set to come in one more player for the Spartans. I believe it's Tim Nuring. There's a pop pass into the baseline to Piper. His shot's very good. Howell will make that. Ethan cuts it off. Gets it ahead to Handel, will bring it across the timeline. Nice pass inside to Howell, who goes reverse. On a beautiful play by Howell, who saw the man coming from behind, reversed his basket, and there was no way he could block it. 41-39. ROCORI back up by 2. To the baseline, and not able to save it in there. Ross Jensen, and it's turnover number 2 of the second half and 12 in the ball game for the Dutchman. Now Johnson and Ethan will sit down along with Howell and Moore, Philippi, along with Crone and Nuring and Handel in there for the Spartans. For the Dutchman, they have brought in Scott Springer, 2-3 zone defense they set up with Freilich going out of the ball game. Also coming into the game is number 43. We'll have to check that one for you. Cross-court pass to Philippi, almost a dangerous one. Philippi with a jumper. It won't go. Rebound on the floor is pulled out of there. At the end of the third quarter, the score, ROCORI 41. Melrose 39. Back in a minute. Moscow. number 4 is the quarter, and it's 41-39. ROCORI leading at halftime by a 31-22 mark, and having led by 12 on 2 occasions late in the first half. Going with the jumper, missed everything, but Danny Moore came off with a basketball, and then a foul was called. Foul will be on Ross Jensen, his first personal foul. Dave Masho was in the ball game. A 6'4" senior came in when Frelick went out. So they got the smaller team in there, Reverman, along with Spanier, Masho, Jensen, and Springer. Springer, Reverman, Masho, Jensen, and the Spaniard. There's a whistle and a foul. Ball rolls around, comes off. I don't believe it's been a basket anyway. And the foul will be charged to number 31, Reverman, and that'll be his 4th personal foul of the ball game. So Reverman will sit down. That's the 4th team foul against the Dutchman in the second half as well. Now a whistle, and the Spartans throw it away, and turnover number 4. Number 12 in the ball game, number 4 here in the second half. The Dutchman giving them all they want. Philippi tries to make the steal, knocks it away, but it still belongs to the Dutchman in the corner. ROCORI with full court pressure, leading 41-39. The Dutchman making the big run. They've been unable to take the lead, but they have cut it down. The Dutchman only lead was 2-0 at the beginning of the game. It's been tied at 2, 33, 35, and 39. 7:34 on the clock for the ball game. 41-39. Spanier with the ball, leaves it outside for Springer. Springer just down the right side to Felix. Lost it momentarily and then got it back again. Almost lost it out of bounds. Baseline with the ball. This is Spanier. Brings it back outside. Covered down there by Phillips. Cut off at the baseline. Gets it back outside to Spanier. ROCORI playing some tough man-to-man defense right now. And Handel is on Frelick, the big guy. Outside with the basketball. Loses it. Philippi with a lead pass for Handel. Handel will try to do a jump, and he missed the shot. And a held ball, and the Dutchman will have it. Handel tried to dunk it and missed the shot. He just didn't have quite the rhythm to put it down. And so it's a missed shot, and that's a tough one. A little bit embarrassing on the dunk. And it'll be out of bounds, backcourt baseline to the Dutchman. As the pass comes inbound, now Felix will bring it across. Pass to the head, but it's cut off by Milling. But leaves it a turn for Crone, and now Milling loses it, and it's out of bounds. Both clubs having trouble hanging on to the ball right now, and Steve Howes will go back in to cool down his ball club. He is really a steadying force on his team. And now coming back in will be Bart Johnson for ROCORI as well. 41-39. It's a chaos out there right now for ROCORI in particular, but even for the Dutchmen having their troubles trying to get things settled down. And now a timeout called, and Paul Parch wants to check something on the scorer's table. I'm not sure what it is. 41-39 the score. 6:41 to play in the fourth quarter. And Frelick will talk to the official. Apparently it was nothing more than just clarifying something. Spanier has it knocked, or makes that Jensen has it knocked away from behind by Philippi, but it still belonged to the Dutchman. And the Spartans call red, and so that means that they're going to be going full court, it would appear. And now they drop back into their man-to-man defense. And Philippi has a big mismatch as he is on with Jensen. Spartans look like they're a little bit confused as far as who they were going to cover out there. And so they will go back out of bounds to the Dutchman. The shot is no good. Loose ball on the floor, put up and in by Ross Jensen, his third field goal. Craig Ethan, by the way, picked up his third foul of the basketball game. The only player in any foul trouble at all for ROCORI. No one else has more than one. Third team foul against ROCORI. And now out of bounds, it'll belong to the Dutchman. They're tied at 41. On the basket by Jensen a moment ago. 98 Country, WWJO, St. Cloud, Minnesota. Connie O courtside. Emmett Keenan back at the studios. And the Dutchman will have the basketball. Inbounds to Jensen, and Jensen will elect to bring it up a little bit himself. Well, then he gives it back to Funk. And Crone covering closely. And here's a steal by Howells, who feeds it back into the middle. And Jensen will chase it down and bring it across the timeline to Phillips, who just did clear the timeline, covered by Ethan. Over on the left side to Funk. Funk drives through the trees, puts a little running jumper up and hits it. And Melrose has their first lead at 5:40 to play, 5:42 actually, on that running jumper by Funk. His second field goal is 4th point. Timeout ROCORI. They want to talk it over. 5.5 minutes to play in the ballgame. The Dutchman 43, the Spartans 41. Back in a minute. ROCORI will have the ball when we resume action, trailing 43-41 to the Dutchman, who's made a great comeback after being down by a dozen on 2 occasions early on, being down by 9 at the half, but they've come back and cut it to 2 at the end of the third quarter, and now have taken their first lead of the ball game. New outside, drives, bounces it off to Philippi. Now driving, he gets it bounced back to New, down into the corner to Howells. The Dutchman playing a very tenacious 2-3 zone, and it's passed inside, intended for Hondo. It's picked off by Freilich, and the Dutchman will bring it down. Across the timeline on the dribble. Right side now, Funk gets it back to the free throw line to Piper. Here's a steal by Philippi, but it's stolen back by Freilich, who puts it inside. The shot's no good, but a foul is called. And the foul will be charged to Hondo, and for Hondo, that will be his first personal foul of the ball game. Never the same old chicken at the Red River Inn. They have dinners featuring lemon broccoli chicken, chicken Dijon, chicken Italiano, chicken Monterey, and chicken Hawaiian. All include rice, roll, and vegetables, just $4.99, $5.99 with salad bar at the Red River Inn in Cold Spring. Free throw is up and good by Todd Piper, his first make of the night, his first attempt, actually. And the second one is also good, and the Dutchmen have opened up a 4-point lead in the basketball game over the Spartans. With the ball, this is Philippi. Across the top of the circle now to New. The Spartans' offense has pretty much disappeared. Here's a jumper by the free throw line by Howells, and it's good. And Howells has 13 in the ball game. Across the timeline, Freilich, 2-point lead for the Dutchman. Took their first lead since the very outset. We're late in the ball game, just about the 5:40 mark. Here's Freilich at the free throw line. His jumper is good. Freilich, once he gets open, it's no stopping him. That's 15 in the game from the field for Freilich, and 16 total points, just under his average. New across the timeline for the Spartans, top of the circle. Calling play number 5 and asking his team to rotate. They're standing around a lot right now, but they're going against the zone defense, a 2-3 zone. Howells with his jumper, going going, Freilich rebounds it and leaves it for Funk, who brings it across the timeline for the Dutchman. Outside with the ball. Covered by Philippi. 4-point lead, 47-43. Dutchman have it. Here's Freilich with a drive, pulls up, and leaves it outside with the basketball. This is Funk working out at long range. Spartans in a man-to-man defense, and now Philippi trying to make the steal. It's called for the personal foul, and will be his first of the basketball game. And ROCORI wants another timeout. So timeout on the floor. 3:21 to play. It's Melrose 47, ROCORI 43. We'll be back in 1 minute. Back once again at Melrose Junior High Gym as the Dutchmen get the ball back. Three-pointer on its way and good by Phillips. And it is a three. Had to look for the official. Everybody else is hollering three. There's a whistle and the basket's up down there. And apparently Phillips' shot counted, but the basket hung up on the other end and timeout was called. Johnson came down, let fly with a three and made it, but it will not count because the whistle is blown as the hung-up basket after Philly's shot. 7-point lead for the Dutchmen with 3:11 to play. New to the top of the circle, works it to the side, gets it over to Johnson for a three. It's no good. Rebound chased down at the baseline, and we're going to have a reaching in foul called on Johnson. And for Johnson, it will be his second personal foul of the ballgame. Backcourt baseline, Dutchman will have it. 15 foul against ROCORI. We get the bonus on 7. Spartans is still in that man-to-man. Freilich gets the inbound pass and gets it ahead now to Spanier, who starts to work it across the timeline. Gets it back to Freilich, who comes down and helps out just about every way possible. He's just an outstanding player. High post now. This is Jensen off on the left side to Spanier. Here's a cross-court pass to Funk. The Dutchmen, I'm sure, going to let the clock run a little bit. They don't have to shoot. They lead 50-43 by 7. Both Spartan teams have gone cold in the fourth quarter. Spartans have only 2 points in this fourth quarter. The Dutchmen have scored 11. Right side with the basketball. This is Jensen, cross-court to Freilich. Looks at the shot, doesn't take it, and brings it back outside. Now Spanier. Spanier has Johnson try to knock it away, and as he does, Johnson picks up his third personal foul. 50-43, no bonus as yet, but on the next one there will be the bonus. 6 fouls on the Spartans. Johnson will come out, and apparently Jensen will be at the free throw line. And now timeout called by Dan Moore for the Spartans. So timeout on the floor. We'll take a 30-second timeout with a score 2:14 to play. The Spartans trailing the Dutchmen 50-43. Alfredo, chicken, shrimp Alfredo, along with pasta primavera or the lasagna. All include garlic bread and fettuccine. Just $4.99, $5.99 with salad bar at the Red River Inn in Cold Spring. Well, we're back to the action once again with at the free throw line, Ross Jensen. And he will shoot the 1-and-1, even though it says only 6 fouls up on the board. The free throw is no good, and the rebound pulled down by Hondo. They'll bring it out of there for the Spartans and clear it across the timeline to Philippi on the right side, who's out at the point right now. Ethan into the baseline to Moore. Here's Philippi going to the basket, lays it up, lays it in. So little Jesse Philippi went right through the trees that time and put it down, and he has his first basket of the ballgame. 50-45, Dutchmen by 5, a minute 48 to play. Outside Jensen with the basketball. And now Jensen double and triple teamed. He gets it across the Funk as now the reaching in foul called on Philippi, and that'll send Funk to the free throw line. So apparently the Spartans know that they must get Melrose to the free throw line and hope they miss the free throws. At the stripe for the Dutchman will be Chad Funk. He has not been to the free throw line as yet. 3 out of 5 from the stripe for Melrose. Overall, free throw is no good. Rebound comes out to Hull. So the Dutchmen are playing into the hands of the Spartans right now as they're missing those free throws and giving them a chance to score. And now going to the hoop, Jesse Philippi lays it in once again. It's 50-47, a 3-point lead for the Dutchmen. A minute 21 to play. Full court pressure put on. Pass is stolen by Moore. Moore gets it out to Howes. Howes with the ball, top of the circle to Philippi, and they'll set up the offense. Turnover number 3, 13 in the game for the Dutchman. The jump shot won't go, and Frelick rebounds it. Moore all over him, but he brings it out. Gets it to Jensen. And now, a whistle and timeout. Melrose, they want to talk it over. And so it'll be timeout. 59 seconds to play in the ball game. We're going to take a 30-second timeout with a 50-47 Melrose lead. Back after this. Yeah. Sure. Come back with 4 unanswered points, and with 1 second, under 1 minute to play. ROCORI with full court pressure put on. Inbound pass comes to Jensen, gets it back to Spanier, ahead to Funk. And Philippi reaching in, trying to get the basketball, and now a foul called. It'll be on Craig Eason. It'll be his 4th personal foul. With 52 seconds on the clock, the Dutchman will be forced to make those free throws. And at the free throw line for the Dutchman will be Chad Funk, who missed the last free throw attempt. It'll be a 1-and-1 coming. The Dutchman in the bonus. ROCORI is not. Free throw is good. So Funk did his job that time, put it down, and one more, of course, to give the Dutchman a 5-point lead and possibly 3 possessions unless the Spartans can hit a 3. Moore, Philippi, Eason, along with Honda. Phillips gets the rebound after the miss, but now we're going to get a whistle and a foul card. And Funk missed the second one. The foul will be charged to the Spartans. And the personal foul will go on number 52, Scott Hondel, his second personal foul. Make that his 3rd personal foul. At the free throw line will be Todd Frelick, 1 out of 3 from the line. This free throw is no good. Hondel high in the air for the rebound. Down court, Philippi to the top of the circle. Brings it down, drops it back out to Howes, back to Philippi. Philippi driving into the lane, goes to the basket, puts it up, it's halfway down, and comes out. And it'll be Dutchman ball. Backcourt baseline. And out of bounds. Last touch, apparently, it looked like it may have been forced out of bounds, but it definitely was last touch by the Dutchman. Here's the pass, Spanier across the timeline, and now a foul will be charged to Philippi as he goes by Spanier, and Spanier will go to the line. So Philippi will pick up personal foul number 3. And going to the free throw line will be Ryan Spanier, who has not scored yet. 29 seconds on the clock, a 4-point lead for the Dutchman. ROCORI 3-0, the Dutchmen are 1-1. Dutchman defeated Long Prairie here on Friday night in their last ball game, so they're coming around. Spanier's free throw is no good. Ball batted out, controlled by Philippi. Down court to Howes for 3. It's good! And Howes fouls immediately on the inbound pass. 51-50, a 1-point lead. Howes made the big 3-point basket. He has 16 in the ball game for the Spartans. And another solid performance for Steve Howes. 51-50 to score. 20 seconds on the clock. If he makes them both, it'll force ROCORI into a 3-point basket. He makes the first one. So Funk has missed one, made one, missed one, and made one. He follows his pattern and missed this one. 20 seconds on the clock. 52-50 to score. He missed the second one, and Hondel is up on the rim getting the rebound. Hondel will bring it across the Dutchman. 15 seconds. Drives to the basket. Offensive foul on Hondel. Probably tried to do a little more than he was supposed to. And picked up the charging foul. So Hondel with his 4th personal foul. And now we've got with 12 seconds on the clock, the Dutchmen are going to call a timeout. We will keep it right here. 12 seconds on the clock. 52-50 the score. ROCORI had led in this ball game 14-9 at the end of the first quarter. They led by 12 a couple of times late in the second quarter, and they led by 2 at the end of the They led by 9 at the end of the half, 31-22. They led by 2 at the end of the third quarter. The Dutchmen took their first lead at about the 5:43 mark of the ball game. At 43-41, they opened it up to as many as 7 at 50-43. Now ROCORI has come back with 7 unanswered points, and it's 52-50. No, there must have been 5 unanswered points. Then they went up by 4 again, and by 5, and Hulls hit the three-pointer. 52-50 to score, 12 seconds on the clock. ROCORI will be forced to foul as soon as the ball's thrown in, and they get it into Freilich, and he is fouled immediately, and that's the man that the Dutchman wanted at the free throw line, Todd Freilich. He's 1 out of 4 from the line, though, but I would imagine they feel that he's their pressure player, and under the circumstances, 1 second ticked off the clock. 52-50. If he makes them both, the game is history. If he makes 1 out of the 2 or misses, the Spartans could come down and tie it or win it at the other end with the basket. The free throw is up. It's no good, and Hondo rebounds it. Gets it off the Philippine with 9 seconds. Leads back to Hulls. It's off his fingertips and out of bounds. ROCORI with a couple of big turnovers down court and 6 seconds remaining in the ball game. So ROCORI will have 1 more chance on this one, but they'll have to foul immediately again. A pass intended for Hulls in the corner sailed off his hands and out of bounds. And a foul over the back called on Moore as Freilich got the basketball. Freilich will go to the line once again. He's 1 out of 5 from the line. So Todd Freilich will go to the free throw line 1 more time and try to ice this one for the Dutchman. 5 seconds on the clock. 52-50 to score. Same circumstances. Okay, we have another timeout. We're going to take a break this time. We'll take a break for Grafton's Gold Emporium there, Emmett, and we're going to be, of course, naming our player of the game from Arnatelli's Pizza right after the game, and we'll be back in 30 seconds. Yeah. Oh, that sounds good. Yep. Mm-hmm. 52-50 to score. 5 seconds on the clock. Freilich will be at the line once again. Todd Freilich, the 6'6 senior. He has 19 points in the basketball game, including a pair of 3-point baskets, but he's only 1 out of 5 from the free throw line. And that could be the difference in the ball game here, but ROCORI twice down had a charging foul, and they threw the ball away on the last time down. They need at least a 2-point basket, but with 5 seconds, they still have time. They'd have to get it in the basket. And Bart Johnson is not in the ballgame right now. Freilich at the free throw line. It's up. It's good. 1 more would ice it. 53-50. It'll take a 3-point basket now for ROCORI to keep their winning streak alive. The Dutchmen storming back here in the second half of this ballgame after being down by 12 on 2 occasions in the first half. Second free throw is up and good. So Freilich makes them both. And that'll do it. Moore will shoot the jump shot at the buzzer, but that's the end of the ballgame. The final score, Melrose 54, ROCORI 50. We'll come back and wrap it up with our post-game show and the Marnatelli ROCORI player of the game. We'll do that in 1 minute.